In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a YouTube channel that can generate you $25,000 to $35,000 per month in just ad revenue alone within 3 years. Now, there are other videos out there from YouTubers who claim to have made much more than this in a shorter period of time, but 3 years is how long it took me to achieve this goal, and I want to set the proper expectations for anyone going down this path. What's up, everyone? My name is Steve Chu, and I run 2 7-figure businesses over at bumblebeelinens.com, which is an e-commerce store that sells handkerchiefs online, and my blog over at mywifequitherjob.com. I'm also the author of the Wall Street Journal best-selling book, The Family First Entrepreneur. Now, to be straight up with you guys, YouTube is actually not my main gig, but I've gotten enough questions about it to warrant making this video. Now, what I mainly teach is e-commerce, and if you want to learn how to sell physical products online, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day mini course below. So what's funny is that before I started my YouTube channel, I watched a ton of YouTube tutorials, and they were all incredibly overwhelming. There's this one YouTuber that I follow who invested in a full studio with lights that cost thousands of dollars, multiple camera setups, and an incredibly complicated editing process. But for me, I'm not a gearhead, nor do I want to be, and I like to keep things simple, always. There is no reason to overcomplicate your YouTube setup because it makes producing videos more like a chore. And trust me, the production quality of your videos does not matter nearly as much as your content, thumbnail, and title. I will full on admit that my videos don't look the best, but I have over 200,000 subscribers and people seem to love the content. Here's another example. My friend Rob Berger, whose channel is growing like gangbusters right now, literally just turns on a camera, talks, does little or no editing, and he's killing it with his channel. The gear does not matter. It's about your video that matters. But since I always get questions about gear, I shoot my videos on a Sony a7, and recently I just picked up a Sony ZV-1 because I wanted a more portable setup. But I would argue that your camera is the least important component to your channel. Now, as for lighting, I use 2 cheap O-ring lights that I picked up on Amazon for about 50 bucks a piece, and the most important part of my entire setup is the audio. To record audio for my videos, I use a Rode Wireless Go 2 lavalier mic. Now, to make filming smooth, I also use a teleprompter where I put up bullet points for what I want to cover. And then I use a Bluetooth foot pedal to advance my slides. So overall, what you want to do is to have everything set up so that once you sit down, all you got to do is click a button and you're ready to film. You want to remove all friction from the filming process because consistency is key. There are a lot of days when I don't want to film and I try to make excuses for not doing it, but the fact that my setup is push button makes it easy to get the video done. All right, enough about the gear. Let's talk about the content. When it comes to content, you have to realize that every single topic is already saturated on YouTube, but that's not a big deal. Because the way you stand out on YouTube is with your personality and your expertise. Sure, many things have already been talked about on YouTube, but it doesn't matter. There are people out there who want to hear from your point of view. They want to be entertained, or they want to learn from someone that they trust. For example, I talk a lot about e-commerce on this channel because that's what I do. I actually run a 7-figure e-commerce store over at bumblebeelinens.com. But if you look on YouTube, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of channels that talk about the exact same thing. But it doesn't matter because I have my own unique experiences running my shop that no one else can copy. So when it comes to coming up with a niche for your channel, just pick something that you could literally talk about forever. As I mentioned earlier, I run an online store, and because e-commerce is constantly changing, I always have something to say about it. In my course over at profitableonlinestore.com, I literally add 1 new piece of content every single week to the class, and I've been doing that for the last 12 years. I will never run out of things to say. So I wouldn't necessarily choose a topic that you are passionate about. I would choose something that you are curious or knowledgeable about and just start filming. Now, in the beginning, when you first start your channel, you're going to want to experiment with different topics within your niche to see what resonates with your audience. Because I can almost guarantee you that what you expect to go viral will not go viral. Just produce videos about a variety of different topics until you find one with an unusually high number of views, and then make more of those videos. Now, here's the part where it gets a little bit controversial, and you'll have to decide for yourself what you should do. There will come a time in your channel where you'll have to decide whether to create content that you know will do well because YouTube has pigeonholed you into a specific niche, or whether you want to produce videos that you really want to make because you feel like it. Because what will end up happening is that the audience that YouTube has found for you will only be interested in a handful of topics. For example, on my channel, anything that has to do with side hustles, making money, product sourcing, or e-commerce always does well. But when I decided to produce a video about how I made 6 figures writing a book that hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller list, that video flopped big time. I mean, go check it out right here. It pretty much died right away. Now, do I have a ton more content to share with you about the process of writing a book? Absolutely. But am I going to make videos about it now that YouTube has told me that it won't proliferate it? Hell no. My friend Noah Kagan found that videos where he interviews billionaires did exceptionally well, so we decided to double down on it, and those are pretty much the only videos he makes now. But this strategy works if you want to grow your channel fast. As long as you feed it what YouTube or your audience wants, your channel will be successful. Just be aware that you may eventually get tired of producing this type of content, so be prepared. I've flip-flopped back and forth over the years about whether to just make videos about what I like versus what I think will do well, and here's my current philosophy. Create videos that will do extremely well, build up your audience over time, and occasionally sprinkle in videos that you just want to make. Because once you have a large enough audience, what you consider a flop will still get a decent number of views. In other words, bow down to the Google gods in the beginning to grow your channel fast, and then once you're big and happy with your income, you can then veer more towards what you actually want to talk about. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about the content creation process. For me, creating the content is easy because I really don't have to do much research. I just pretty much talk about what I'm currently working on with my online store or my blog. Now, even though my e-commerce store is doing well, I still have tons of problems to solve every day. But I always wrap the solutions to these problems around the theme of making money online or passive income. For example, one time I was looking at my e-commerce finances and wanted to make a video about it. But instead of creating a boring video about how to do accounting for your e-commerce business, I titled the video something along the lines of, "Amazon is stealing from you. Here's how to make more money selling online." Which brings me to my next step in the process, which could quite possibly be the most important step: creating a title and thumbnail. Now, I don't want to belabor the point because I'm sure you've heard tons of other YouTubers say the same thing. Unless you can get someone to click on your video, you're just not going to do well on YouTube. So here's my exact process. First off, I fire up TubeBuddy to do a little keyword research about any topic that I'm thinking of. Now, back when I first started YouTube, I paid much more attention to the keyword research aspect of making a video. But today, I've come to realize that SEO doesn't matter nearly as much as building a rabid fan base on your channel. So basically, I use TubeBuddy to make sure that there's a decent amount of search volume for the topic that I'm about to make a video about. And if there's a specific keyword that gets more search volume than another, then I'll use it. For example, the words e-commerce platform gets more searches than shopping cart, so any video that I produce about e-commerce platforms, I'll use the words e-commerce platform in my title. So bottom line, SEO is less of a factor for me today. Sure, I'll still try to find keywords that have higher search volume with lower competition, but that doesn't drive my decision when coming up with a topic for a video. The clickability of the video is way more important. Anyway, with that being said, I always pick the title of the video first before I do anything else. Thanks to AI, I now run every single video idea through ChatGPT. Here's what I ask. Give me 10 clickbait titles for a particular topic. And then ChatGPT will spit out a bunch of topics, and then I massage the verbiage into something that I like. And then I think about the thumbnail. Once again, all this stuff takes place before I even script a single word of the video. Why is that? Because you need to come up with a hook before you do anything else. 80% of the success of your channel rides on it. Now, after coming up with the title, I think about the words I want to use for my thumbnail and the design. And usually I narrow down the words on the thumb to no more than, I would say, 5 words, and then I snap a picture of an appropriate expression on my face. Usually sad faces for me actually work best for some strange reason. Now, once I have my title and thumbnail down, then I work on the script. Now, as for the content of the video, I really only have 3 pieces of advice. For the intro, tell people exactly what they're going to get out of the video, and then tease the ending. Try to keep the video flowing by inserting frequent camera changes, jump cuts, and B-roll, and then use annotations as well to just mix things up. And at the end, never let the viewer know that the video is about to end. Make it end abruptly if you have to, and then at the end, tease the next video in the series. For example, you'll notice at the end of every video that I make, I say something along the lines of, now that you understand how I do this, make sure you watch this video here that explains this concept in more depth. The ultimate goal is to keep your watcher on YouTube for as long as possible. And the easiest way to do this is to constantly tease new content that has yet to come. Finally, I try to engage with my audience for the first 48 hours. I reply to comments, ask for feedback, and create a community around my channel. This helps to build loyal subscribers who keep coming back to watch new videos. Overall though, YouTube is a slog, and consistency is the key. If you want to follow my footsteps, just commit to making one video per week, find out what works, and then just make more of that type of video. Now that you know how I make money with YouTube, make sure you watch this video here for other ways to make passive income online.